First, you definitely want to cut your cable to size if you have not already done so. So for this, we'll just simply cut it as if you had to. You can see the nice flush cut that you want there. Next thing is take the strip tool, raise the blade all the way up, put about 2.5 inches through, and then lower the blade so that it firmly makes contact with the cable jacket. Turn it twice, remove the tool, and you should have a nice score on there, but not an actual cut through. If you cut through here, then what you need to do is actually cut off and start again because you may have nicked a conductor. So the idea is to go ahead and pop the cable jacket off and then remove it. Keep this because you got a free tool now, for a few minutes at least. The next step is to prep the cable up. So start by flush cutting off the ripcord, and most cables have that. The next step is to put the conductors into a flared out or a star pattern so that you can remove the spline. Now some people have a habit of simply cutting the spline straight across. You don't want to do this because if you do, you're going to have trouble getting the RJ45 plug onto the cable. So what you do is you separate the pairs and you make 4 snips at a downward angle like this. So one snip, move those aside, second snip, and there's 4 snips you got to make. The idea is to get that spline cut as closely to the edge of the cable jacket as possible. Once you have all the 4 snips made, you simply twist to remove, and it's gone. At that point, bring the conductors back out and start untwisting. This is where your little free tool comes in handy. And it's just a matter of making basically a twisting motion, going with the twist in it to get all these conductors untwisted. This will greatly speed up the process for you. The next step is you want to get a glove and some sort of metal dowel. You can use a screwdriver for this. Just something that's got a smooth metal shaft like that, and the glove is to protect your fingers, which you definitely will thank me for once you realize what we're going to do next. You have to straighten out the conductors. So you need to get all these kinks out of here. Otherwise, it's simply not going to go onto the plug very well. So starting from the cable bottom, or near the, at the beginning or end of cable jacket, you want to make 2 to 3 passes upwards using moderate pressure to get that conductor straight. And repeat 8 times. So at this point, the conductors are straight enough that we can start putting them into the T568B sequence. And that sequence is white, orange, orange, white, green, blue, green, white, brown, brown. And I've done this so many times, I just literally rattled that right off of the top of my head. So if you have to refer back to a chart, there's no shame. So again, white, orange, orange, white, green, blue, white, blue, green, white, brown, brown. Now, one thing to note is that the spline in this cable will fight you every step of the way getting these conductors in the proper sequence. And once you do get them in the proper sequence, you're committed to keeping them there until you get that plug on. So and you always want to recheck to make sure they're still in the same sequence. So white, orange, orange, white, green, blue, white, blue, green, white, brown, brown. The next thing is to make sure that they're still nice and straight here so they go in the plug nice. And then choke up to right about there. You can see there's still some kinks left at the ends. That's fine. You want to flush cut at a nice area where it looks like all the conductors will go into the plug nice and evenly. Then take your handy flush cutter and snip right across, just like that. The next step is you want to get out an RJ45 plug. And these are the pass-through kind, unshielded, because we're working with unshielded riser category 6. And that's what the plugs look like, they're pass-through. And again, at all costs, make certain that you are keeping these conductors lined up. If you let them, if you just for a second take your eye off of it, they're going to fly all over. You'll have to start over again, putting them in order. So make certain that the conductors are still in order. And from the bottom side of the plug, start with white orange at the top up here. Don't use the latch side as your reference, because oftentimes it'll obscure your view. So this is where you actually put it in there, and the conductor should pretty well go in easily and then line up for you. Now once you do that though, you want to make certain that you have the correct color sequence still, because they can cross over as they're going through the conductor holes and then mess you up. So white, orange, orange, white, green, blue, white, blue, green, white, brown, brown. There we go. So that is the correct sequence. And now we have to use what's a little known trick, or not quite so little known, but maybe you didn't know about it up until now. It's called ovalization, and that's where we're actually taking a pair of electrician's pliers, and we're using the oval cutout near the nose to ovalize the end of the cable, because as you probably noticed, we got a rectangular hole and a round cable, and that round cable is simply not going to go in that hole unless you ovalize it to fit first. So don't go smashing it flat, just ovalize it, and you want to do it on the same plane, or basically same direction as the rectangle cutout. Just gently shape her on so it goes into the plug nice. Don't worry about putting marks on your cable jacket, it's not going to hurt a thing. And then once you get it all nice and ovalized so it can go in there, that's when you start pushing it in. Now, this is where you pull on the conductors and you push on the cable jacket, and you do some more pulling on the conductors, and you push the cable jacket, more pulling on the conductors, and etc. The idea being to get that cable jacket as far up into the plug as possible. All right, so now the plug is ready to actually be terminated and crimped in. So we make use of our nice tool here that trueCABLE sells, and we'll unlock it. And the plug will only go in one way. Now make sure the conductors will clear that cutting blade, because what's going to happen is when you push the plug in and you start engaging, it's going to push the strain latch pressure bar into the strain latch, which will actually crimp the cable jacket to the plug at the rear. It's going to terminate the golden contacts, and then it's going to shave it all off all at once. Pretty cool, huh? And there you are. Then you can lock your tool, put it aside. So now you got the strain latch, it's crimped into that cable jacket, and you can actually see where it made a divot there. That's so it can't pull out. And then you want to check your work, make sure that none of the golden contacts are popped up on you, and they're not. And they're all nice and flush cut off. And there you have it. A very tight, near 3/16" termination for category 6A cable. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully this was useful to you. You have a great day, and happy networking.